fellow detectorists, yes, I'm back out again. It's Saturday the 15th of June. I'm here most of the day. I'm on permission number 2. As you can see, the crops are well up now. I've got oilseed rape to the left of me, and wheat or barley, I'm not sure which, wheat I think, to my right. Now all I'm going to do is go down some of the edges, but I wanted this to be more of a sort of an iron target video, really. I'm still detecting, of course. I'll still hopefully get the odd find here or there. I'm not expecting much, of course, because this is permission number 2, and I don't find a lot here anyway, even when I'm on the fields. So who knows what I'll get just down the edges. But I have had a couple of people ask me how I distinguish the iron targets when I'm using the ORX or the XP AUX, whichever way you want to call it. So I thought I'd do a bit of a sort of a demonstration type video. I'm not going to go into too many different types of targets at the moment. This will just be a kind of like I say, like a demonstration type thing where I'll point out how I get round the larger iron targets, because most detectors are the same actually when it comes to ploughshares and big horseshoes and stuff. A lot of them get confused and get tricked by these sort of targets, and we end up digging them, of course, and you have to, some of them. But anyway, I'll get on with it. We'll see what we find, and you'll see me at the first find. Bye for now. Now then, folks, here we go. We've got our first decent sounding signal here. It's coming up in the high 70s, 80s. We can 77, and it's a very short sounding signal. Let's see if I can't we go to, if I can find it. Still getting my head around this configuration. Speaker, yes, well I want the speaker, so yes. Then we go back again, and we're back on 3 coin fast 14.4 kilohertz. So this would tell me, I mean, this is the tamer, more modest program out of the 2 relic programs. So I would think that on this particular setting, this program and on 14 kilohertz, that the target is fairly near the surface, but we will see. Let's give me 76. 76. 95. It could be a bit of lead. I mean, I have had shotgun cartridge caps that have been that high before as well, but we'll give this a dig and see what it is. I'll see you in a moment. Sounds like we've got it out. I think I can see it. There it is, look. Now at the moment it looks like a little button, but that was giving me what, high 70s, low 80s. Yes, I do think that's what's left of a button. I can just see on the back here where there used to be a shank. Yes, there we go, look. It is just a button, I think, or what's left of one. It's quite small. It was a little way down there as well, and that was on the Coin Fast, so it's the more tamer program of the two, on 14.4 kilohertz. So, and that was giving me high 70s, low 80s. Anyway, let's carry on. I'll see if I find an iron target soon and show you how I distinguish the targets. Anyway, let's carry on. Bye for now. Now then folks, we've got a completely different sounding target here. I've only walked a few feet since that last little button target, and I've got a completely different one now, so I'll just show you this if I can find it again. Can you hear that? Giving us a definite iron tone. Now, we'll see what the display is telling us, and as you can see, the iron probability meter below the figures goes right across the screen. And it's only given us, what, 02 or 03 at the best. So that obviously would be an iron signal. Now, what I will try, whilst I've got the chance, is I will go, I'm still in Coin Fast, but what I will try and do is up the frequency to 31.3 kilohertz, and first of all I will try that. We'll just come back out of the program so we can see the figures, and we'll try it again. So we're still getting our iron tone, and we're still getting the same display. Right, so no difference there then. The number's gone up slightly. It's now up to 3 or 4, but we're still getting an obvious iron probability meter reading. So we'll go one step further, and we will try 54 kilohertz. Let's come out of that, and we'll try that. Still getting our iron tone. And this time the figures have gone up even more, gone up to probably 05, 06. But we're still getting the iron probability meter reading. Now we will try a different program. We'll try the Coin Deep program. You can see up the top there, look, for Coin Deep. It's on 14.4 kilohertz. So we'll start there. This is obviously still all on the same target. Now that's interesting. We have got slightly louder iron tone, but I suppose we would have because we're now searching deeper. Still getting the iron probability meter reading, and it's still saying 02, because of course we're now back in 14 kilohertz. So I'll skip 31 kilohertz and I'll go straight up to 4 Coin Deep, this one, and I'll skip 31 kilohertz and I'll go straight up to 54. So we're now on 54 kilohertz, and we'll try that on 4 Coin Deep. Still getting our iron signal tone. Still getting the iron probability meter reading. And it's still saying roughly 04, 03. So we'll now dig this target and we'll see what the culprit is, just so that we know. But that, of course, I mean, to most people, of course, this is fairly obvious. The detector is telling you what's iron and what isn't. But you do get caught out, and I will show you a few of these caught out targets in a little while. Anyway, let's dig this one and we'll see what it is. Right then folks, here we go. Let's see what this is. Sounds like it's out. Let's see. Tiny, tiny little iron nail. Show you. There we go. Tiny little iron nail. And that's what that was. So what's left of a little iron nail. So both programs, all the kilohertz. I know on the second program I missed out 31 kilohertz, but it would have given me the same reading. Was it about 3 inches deep? So I know it's only a small target. We'll try and find a larger one in a moment and show you the figures on that. You can get caught out by these iron targets on the ORX, like any detector will. Once the detectors, any of them, get overpowered, they will give you a good sounding signal. If you get suspicious about iron signals, then you need to move the coil away slightly from the target, and you'll probably find you get your iron tone again. And if you do, in a circle or a halo around the suspected target, then it's more than likely it's going to be iron. but I'll try and find one in a little while and show you. Anyway, bye for now. Here we go, folks. Just had another target. It's come from right on the edge of the wheat field here, and it is a coin, but I'm afraid I can't make anything out on it whatsoever. It's smooth. I thought if I wet it I might be able to tell something around the edge of it, but it is pretty blank, unfortunately, on this one. But it's quite a sort of a, it's not perfectly round, it's a bit irregular, and from the coins I've had before I would guess that this is possibly a George II, or it could be earlier. But who knows on that one, I'm afraid. But anyway, still nice. We've got a coin, and it's come from the edge of the field here, so let's carry on. Bye for now. Oh, by the way, this was given me high 80s. About, well, I say high 80s. It was the top end, top half of the 80s. Had 86, 87, something like that. Anyway, we'll carry on. Bye for now. Now then, folks, just here we've got one of those targets I was talking about where the machine gets overpowered. Well, I'm pretty sure it's one of those targets, but I believe it's one of those targets where the machine gets overpowered and actually gives you a good signal. Now these can be obviously very deceiving. You do dig some iron occasionally, because you just get caught out by it, and so does the machine. But as you can hear, I'll try and show you on the display as well. I have to find the right spot, but just now I was getting readings on the display of about 95 and higher. There we go, I had 96 there. At 85, look. Now, if ever you get a target like this and you think, or you suspect that it's too good to be true, the figures are too high or whatever, and the machine is just being overpowered, try going slightly in front of the target and slightly behind it. At the moment there is a bit of an iron buzz there, but it's not sometimes you would dig these signals, but if we just move back a bit, you do get the iron probability meter will suddenly start coming on. And normally if I get a signal like this and I start moving around it, and normally you get the iron tone around the target. But I will try digging that and see what we find. It could actually be one of these Mew tubes right next to a piece of iron, of course. A lot of the time you don't know unless you dig them, but sometimes eventually you get a feel for these targets that sound too good to be true, and when you put the coil either side of it, if you know what I mean, you still get the iron signal, although if you're right over the target you get quite a good signal. And it's targets like that, really, if you've got the time and you can come back to your permission, then you can ignore them. I mean, if you get particularly worried you might have walked away from a decent target, then dig it. But I'll see what that one is though, just up here on a slightly, just up there next to the coil on a slightly higher piece of ground. It is giving me quite a good target, so I'll dig it and we'll see what it is. Now as you can see folks, I'll zoom in, there's the culprit, look. It's this large piece of iron here. Now that was obviously overpowering the detector, but and it was giving me a good tone. Now as you can see, there's a prime example there to show you about the detector getting overpowered. You find targets like this, and you'll put the coil straight over the top of it, it will give you a good sounding signal. But if you move the coil either side of it, away from it, the iron tone will come through. And you can go around the target. If you suspect something like this, you can go around the target and just to double check. I mean, there's lots of targets which I don't put everything on my videos because people get fed up with me finding and videoing iron, believe it or not. So I do get targets like this, and after a while you will get a feel for when you're over something like this. I'll try putting this on the ground and we'll just see what happens when I move the coil over it on the surface. I just come round like that, chuck it down on the floor, and we'll just see what happens. Now, nothing, but I come away from it slightly. I come away from it or slightly above it, as you know, to show depth in the ground, and of course we start getting that good tone. If you go either side of it, you get your iron tone. Go straight over the top of it, and it will give you a decent sounding tone. Unfortunately, that's one of the things with large iron, and every detector does it. Some detectors work better than others, but it's really getting a feel for these targets. I mean, I have people say to me, all I dig is iron. Well, you might have an iron infested site. I mean, there is that. I mean, there isn't much. I mean, this is permission number 2, remember. I do struggle to find targets here, you know, good and bad, believe it or not. But there are places, there are obvious areas to go on fields where you will find lots of iron. Round the edges of the fields where ploughshares break off because the plough is lowered into the ground as the farmer takes another strip down the field. As the plough's lowered into the ground, the ploughshares break off. So around the edges of the field, you're going to find more ploughshares than in the centre. Yes, you do get them in the centre of the fields, but you will find more around the edges. Also, other bits of iron as well. They do congregate around the edges, and gateways, obviously. You get entrances to fields where the farmers pull into the field. They'll do work on the tractors or the trailers or the implements, on machinery, stuff like that. And gateways, I tend to steer clear of gateways if I can, mainly because I know I'm going to find lots of rubbish. Anyway, I hope that's pointed out. But it is easy to get tricked by it. So if I go all the way around it, so as soon as I get one of these targets which I think is too good to be true, it's giving me a too high a reading, after a while you get a feel, you know what might be iron and might not. And if you go round such a target, like I said before, 9 times out of 10 you will be right, and you can just walk on without having to dig them. But that's a good example anyway. I hope that sort of explains a little bit to some people that might not have realised, or either new to detecting itself. Anyway, bye for now. Let's carry on and try and find some of the good targets. Here we go, folks. We've got our next target, and it's come from just down there next to my coil, and it's this, look, which is unusual. It looks to me like it was either a coin or a button, and it's been folded over. It's been folded over one way and the other way, and then the bottom's been folded over again. So whether that is just natural, seems a very strong coincidence, that actually whatever it was silvered at one time, so I'm thinking this might have been a button, and that could have been just naturally folded over, or maybe somebody did it for some reason. But I'm thinking that that's possibly what's left of a button. I mean, that's strange. Anyway, I'll have a closer look at it when I get home, give it a bit of a clean, and see if it isn't anything more interesting. Anyway, bye for now.